I think the 100 miles shorter will be really good. The pavement, they did a great job repaving the racetrack. It's very smooth. It's going to be interesting to see on the restarts, what that's going to hold for us, how much rubber we can get built up on the outside and keep that second groove clean. But passing's going to be difficult, as it always has been here, though. Very, very fast. It's amazing. You give these engineers and teams a couple days to work on the cars. I mean, they've picked up seconds, literally, and I think we started it like in the 53-second category, and we're running in the 50-second category now. So it's just it always, is pretty much excites me to be a part of that when you can see those guys, go to work and find speed.
Okay, we'll open up for questions for Clint. Please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless mic to you. We'll start right here with Scott. Up front with Scott.
Scott Walsh from the Scranton Times. Clint, you say you think the 100 miles is going to be short or is going to be a good thing. Why do you think that, and how do you think kind of the strategy will kind of play out now with the 100 miles less?
Well, I think that's just it, the strategy. I think it could shake that up, for the better. This track has become it's been a fuel mileage race in the past, and a little bit shorter race could shake that up. And it just seemed like this is a track that we got strung out, and it was just a bit too long. Hopefully a shorter race will create some excitement within that, and we can put on a good show for the fans.
Okay, we'll take our next question to the left from Jim.
Jim Noble, ESPN. How much of your focus is on turn one with the speeds you're carrying into that turn, the fact that the groove is still pretty narrow down there? How much of a worry or how much attention of yours is that particular place getting?
Well, you definitely make sure the brakes are working condition before you go out. You're sailing it off in there at a pretty good clip. One has some banging to it, and within that, the car takes some load and feels secure. Getting into three, actually, for me, it's flat. You're carrying a lot of speed over there, and the car can really, step out from underneath of you. And there's no banking to hold you if it ever did slip. So if you ever get up out of that groove, get in the dirty part of the track, you're going to be in trouble in a hurry. I would say, if in my opinion, if there's some cautions Sunday, I would think that it would be in turn three, cars trying to get underneath each other, getting each other loose, getting them up in a dirty part of the track, and getting somebody in trouble.
Okay, questions for Clint? Okay, we'll take one up here from Reed.
There's no grip patch in turn three anymore. No cushion.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. Clint, you're already 2 seconds under the previous track record here. What's your best guess as to what it's going to take to win the pole here?
I don't know. Something the size of grapefruits, I'd say.
All right, I'd like to see somebody top that question. Okay, we'll take Brian in the back, then we'll come back up to Nate.
I'm not going to try to top it. But you've got kind of a situation similar to this next week. The schedule is similar with a couple days of practice, and then you're getting into the regular routine all weekend long. But tell me a little bit about how this back-to-back new track weekend deal is going to work for you, and how does it affect you?
Well, it's, I guess for me personally, this week's just been busy with the prelude and everything, the 2-day test here. It's just kind of been a pretty chaotic week for us in my camp. But, for the what we do for a day job and the Cup Series, these tests and things like that, I mean, as a young team, as we are at NWR and in our 5-Hour Energy Toyota on the number 15 side, it's good. These are good test sessions for us. Good chance to get caught up and work with one another on testing. That's something that we used to take for granted, and there's just they're pretty few and far between. Michigan, it's going to be other weekend just like this. It's going to be very, very fast. Speeds are going to be through the roof, and you're just going to have to work on a good balance. When the speeds are like that, you have to have a good balance. You can't be loose, you can't be tight. You got to have a good balance to go fast.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Nate, then go to Al.
Nate Ryan, USA Today. Clint, you said you expected cautions in turn 3, but yesterday Denny Hamlin was saying he expected that turn 1 would be a festival of dive bombing, especially like on restarts when guys were trying to scramble for positions in those first couple laps. Are you expecting a lot of action on restarts and with guys trying to get ahead going into
I
turn
would
1?
say restarts in turn 1 is going to be pretty wild, just like it always has been, but you're fighting for one groove. You know, you could slip and slide around and move up, and you know, that's the difference is now there's one groove that we're all going for. Probably 5 wide going for it.
Okay, go ahead with your question now.
Yeah, Clint Al Pierce at Auto Week. Right now you are in the chase. You're on the cut. How many wins will it take for you to maybe breathe a little easier, to not have to worry about being right there at 10th?
Oh, man. Crazy thing is, I think we're 2 points out of 8th, you know, but you got to win, you know. I mean, that's to be something in this sport, you have to win races. And, you know, I think it's going to take, you know, solid to be solid in the points and probably a couple wins at least. Yeah.
Okay, we'll take our question in the back from Viv.
Viv Bernstein, NASCAR.com. When you see Jimmy Johnson doing what he's doing and Hendrick overall doing what they're doing, is there a collective oh no in the garage, and how do y'all approach that when they're on this kind of run?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when they get on a roll, they've proved that they can ride that way for a while. You know, I think they've certainly found something here and found some speed in their race cars. I mean, last week I was running 5th, and 4 of them were in front of me at one point. That's not a very good feeling. You know, just obviously forces everybody, just like they did a few years ago, to work harder and catch up.
Additional questions for Clint? Okay, we'll take one over here to your left, then come back up to Jim. Right here.
Tammy Allman with GarageTalkLive.com. With the new track surface this weekend, will any of your previous notes and setups help you, or with the new surface, will you have to start fresh with everything?
Well, I mean, obviously you can get away with a lot more. The track's smooth. You know, you don't hit the bumps like you did in years past and have to worry about stopping a car and not hitting the racetrack. So there's definitely things that you work on differently than you used to, but same principles apply. You know, as much faster as it is, you can't really pinpoint exactly where it is. You know, you shift in the same places, you downshift in the same places, you upshift in the same places, you enter the corner, and your same lifting point getting into one is still the same lifting point into 2, and so on. I mean, it's just you get to the gas so much harder, you can lean on the car, you know, so much harder, and probably use a little bit less brake. I mean, but feel-wise, you know, you used to, for me, it felt faster before because you were bouncing around, the thing was jumping sideways, and you were still running 200 mile an hour. Now it's running 15 mile an hour faster, but it's pretty smooth and pretty under control.
Okay, we'll take a question from Jim, then go to Lee.
Jim Otter, Show Observer. This might be a question better asked when the season's over, but...
Well, let's wait then.
I'll ask you again. What would be your best guess when you look at a shorter race distance and new pavement at 2 Pocono races, new pavement at 2 Michigan races, and whatever ends up being at Bristol? Collectively as a group, do you think those 5 races will end up having some sort of larger than usual impact on this season?
Yeah, I don't think so. You know, it's going to come down to the same things to win this race this weekend. Is you're going to have to qualify good, but you've always had to qualify good here. Track position is very important at a big racetrack like this where we're carrying those high speeds. You're going to have to keep yourself in track position all day long, not only to start the race, but to, you know, your pit strategy through the course of the race. I think you're going to see a lot of staying out, fuel only, things like that, just like we saw at Charlotte when they repaved that. You know, the tire's very hard. It keeps getting faster and faster. I mean, in test, every time you go out, the thing would get faster. You know, so I think you're going to see a lot of long runs, and I think you're going to see a lot of people, you know, strategizing to set themselves up for the end of the race, because you're going to have to be in track position.
It won't necessarily be all that different.
I don't think so.
Final question from Lee.
We'll just get there faster.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Are you surprised that RCR has struggled this season to, you know, just really break through as strong as you guys were last year?
Well, I'm not there anymore, so. Yeah. Well, I mean, it is what it is. I guess you never, wish bad things upon anybody, but if you're not there anymore, you don't really care as long as they're behind you.